The knife engraving kits at engraver.com are a great way to practice essential engraving skills, and when you're finished, come out with a great looking knife. What we're going to focus on now is transfer skills to show people how to get the pattern from the plate onto the knife. The easiest way to do that is by using the chapstick graphite method. This is a technique that master engraver Mike Duber has put up on YouTube before, and we're going to do a variant of that method for these knives. The nice part about that method is that you can get the items you need at any local stores, and it's something that's convenient. You would use chapstick, which is the original chapstick, not one of the chapsticks with the flavors. You also need powdered graphite. You want pure graphite. Don't get graphite with anything that is added into it as a bonding agent, because that makes it work less effectively as graphite alone. What you do is, in a tin like this, or my personal favorite is in a bottle cap, go ahead and melt a little bit of the chapstick, add some graphite, mix it together, let it cool, heat it a second time, mix it together, and that makes sure that the graphite is evenly distributed in the mixture. Let it cool, and now you've got this wax that you can spread in either the transfer plate or any other kind of engraved surface in order to lift it off with either Scotch tape or packing tape. Today we're going to use packing tape because our pattern is a little bit on the large side. So you take your mixture, put a little bit on your finger, and then apply it. And you can see how it brings out the pattern in the plate. There isn't a specific formula to use. Different people have different kinds of tape and different combinations of chapstick and graphite that they swear by. The key is to experiment a little bit, and you'll find your own personal preference. Okay. Once you've got it covered, then take a piece of brown paper. I like just using regular craft paper. If you still have a grocery store that uses brown paper bags, it's another great place for it. And wipe off the excess wax and graphite. You want to use a thick paper, because you don't want the paper to bend and get inside the cracks. You want to leave the graphite and wax inside the pattern, and just use the paper to remove the excess. Now go ahead, take your piece of tape, line it up over your pattern, and then work from one side to the other. When picking out what kind of packing tape you want to use, we like the thicker kind, the shipping tape, because it's stiffer. So it makes it a little bit easier to work with in this application. The key here is you want to get it on evenly, and you don't want to have any bubbles. So once you've pressed it on there, then just peel it back off the top of your plate. Now you'll have your pattern and your tape. Line up your pattern. This can be a little tricky depending on your light. And put the pattern on the knife. And when you press down on the tape, the pattern should be pretty clear. Again, you want to do it carefully so you don't wind up leaving bubbles, because they'll just leave empty spots on your pattern. And then you peel off the tape. Now you'll see that the transfer pattern itself is faint. It's a little hard to pick up under this lighting. You can see it under a microscope better. But the purpose of the pattern is to give you something that you can work with to get your major lines in. It's not precise enough for you to do all of your shading lines, and that's why there's, on these plates, the top is just the basic outlines of your scrolls, and then the flip side of the plate is the study plate that has all of the shading lines. This particular plate is Lee Griffiths' Advanced Liberty Scroll plate. And that's transfer patterns. One other comment is that this isn't permanent. If you rub it, it will come off. That's intentional. You don't want to have a permanent pattern on there that is going to be difficult to remove after you're done engraving. But it will take some practice in order to make sure that as you engrave, you don't unintentionally brush the pattern and rub it off, because if you rub it with your hand, you will either smear it or take it off. There are other transfer methods out there. You can check them at engraver.com or on the Engravers Cafe forum. This is just the one that's the simplest one to use with knife engraving plates.